Hey guys, my name's Hunter,
My name is Gabriel.
and we're bringing to you the Kairos podcast where we discuss
Fitness, wellness, human evolution, the future of fitness in New Zealand.
Bump it up.
Yo guys, you are tuned in to the Kairos podcast. This is a place where we discuss unconventional training, human evolution, and all things fitness. This is our episode 1. This is the introduction. We just want to introduce Kairos, introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about our story with fitness, personal training, unconventional fitness, and why we're even here and what this is all about. So, yeah, welcome.
Kia ora.
Yeah, bro. I honestly think a good place to start is just like a little background of you, what you did. Like, obviously me meeting you was pivotal in my own training and unconventional fitness and all this sort of stuff. But what was your path to getting to the point where you're at now? Thank you. Sipping a little mate. Yerba mate, guys, if you don't know about it. Fuck, it's the goods.
Alright. So I believe I've been a mover since I was born. Like most of every human in the earth. But the thing is, I discovered this movement or this passion for movement since I was a kid, like enjoying really being outdoors and climbing trees. And then like my dad introduced me to martial arts,
Right.
and then it was taekwondo at the moment, this Korean martial art. And
Wait, what did you say it was called?
taekwondo.
Oh, taekwondo.
Yeah. So yeah, then I passed through martial arts and then gymnastics and then again. Well, I had a sudden stop in my teenage.
Right.
Like no activities, like lazy stuff.
Really?
Still doing, because I started I am a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout at the age of my 11, 12.
Yeah.
So then I rediscovered my passion for nature, like doing many really cool things in nature.
Sick.
Buildings and stuff, but like gathering your own food.
So this is like after the period, you're meaning? After the period of you stopping moving, you then got back into it like quite seriously.
Yeah, exactly. So stopping
Right.
the sports, the kind of traditional sports or more conventional sports and stuff, and exactly. And then
That period of stopping, why? Was that like video games distraction, or was that like studying or something?
no,
like that?
no at all. I think my interest has changed, and of course your family life changed. We moved houses at that moment, so everything it was more far away, and another lot of
Right. So
work.
just like general life.
Yeah,
change.
general life. I remember we had a competition. It was a bloody one because we fought really hard. Like we at the small ages,
Yeah.
you can have. It's really rare to see a knockout, and we did this taekwondo competition. It was knockout everywhere.
Isn't taekwondo, like, I don't know a whole lot about it, but isn't it like using the leverage of people and...
No,
or am I thinking judo?
that's judo.
Right.
Taekwondo is more kicks.
Ah, okay.
And so there were a lot of us, especially me. I don't want to be arrogant, but especially me knocking out kids. And so essentially my mom said, "No, this is too bad."
Fucking, what age are you at this point?
What was that?
What age are you?
I think it was around 8,
Right.
9.
Knocking out other kids at fucking 9
Yeah.
years old. Damn.
So I just stopped. And then
Because of your mum.
all the reasons that I mentioned before. Then we moved houses. I went to gymnastics again, like a few years, and then So I stopped. I went to the Boy Scouts. This amazing culture of like gathering people around a fire. It's amazing. Like survival skills. Like you face a lot of different challenges in your life, and this approach of movement, this you can compare it here in New Zealand with outdoor education. Like it makes you really resilient. You know, like it
Right.
makes you really resilient in terms of weather, in terms of whatever challenge it's happening in that moment.
So would you say that this is like essentially the message of reconnection training? Like that's sort of like the birth, like in that moment, that was like almost like the seed of you know, your own training, what you're doing now, and that was like the seed.
Not that much. No.
Okay.
Because, of course, that was at my teenage, and so I couldn't really. Of course, I was enjoying a lot, and I was having a lot of fun and learning so many things. But at that moment, you can. I don't know what was your experience, but at that ages, you cannot really.
You're not thinking about the future.
Exactly.
Like, I'm gonna. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So it was part of my experience for around 7 years, and then I came back to Taekwondo. And then I started to train really hard, and you know, I was at that moment I was like 20 years old, drinking.
Classic 20-year-old.
Yeah, bro.
Getting
like
fucked up and
you know what? This is the most beautiful thing. I was drinking every night, like going out every night, and I don't know, being a jerk essentially. And then I started Taekwondo. And it has this martial aspect, right? This discipline aspect, this thing, and I really take things that I do really serious.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's also like, I haven't done a martial art formally, but from all the videos that I've seen and stuff, there's always like the formalness of it.
Yeah.
Like everyone's so respectful. Everyone's like, like you're saying, disciplined. It's like very, you know.
So that builds discipline. I think we can discuss about this later, but also there is a really good thing and a really not that good thing when you follow that one or someone that is more experienced or something like that. Usually in martial arts,
that's so good.
It's so good.
So good.
You don't question what your sensei,
you're the student, and you're just like
sabon or whatever it is. The master.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is good. Which is it has it sense properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, it serves some specific field. Let's say the like martial aspect, the aspect of war or something like that. You basically follow some orders. But I don't want to enter into that topic.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that good, because you want to build criticism on the thoughts of people,
not
as well.
Just mindlessly follow
exactly.
an idea.
Exactly.
Right.
But we can discuss about that anyways.
Cool. Excuse me.
So Taekwondo, I was doing this. I was drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
One day I went for a morning Taekwondo session.
Hungover.
Man, I started to hangover. I started to vomit in the middle of the class.
Fuck.
I said, no, that's it, because this is the worst thing. I'd never liked to drink. I never liked the taste. I never liked the flavor. I never liked. I was doing it just to be a jerk.
was it? If you don't mind unpacking this sort of stuff like fascinates me. Was it like an escape? Was it like you?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
So was it just like your sphere of influence? You started drinking just because other people around you were drinking? Like, why did you start drinking? Just
other people was definitely drinking as well. It was a group of friends doing shitty things.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not because them. It was because, in my case, same to movement, I like to explore. I have been exploring everything with my body, like forms to eat. Everything. So I explored it, and I was doing it, and I don't know, like just I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so vomiting that session, I said that's it. I don't want to drink anymore, and I never drunk after that. Like that was my last time, and
still to this day.
Yeah, never drink again, because I never liked it, and I said, this is not good for me.
Wow.
I couldn't understand at the moment, and actually I really wanted to train, so this is stopping me from
training and
for my training, for my best performing I can. So I stopped and never again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it like a couple years of drinking?
It was 2 years probably.
Right.
From my 18 till my from my 17, 3 years. From my 17 till my 20s, more or less.
Pretty classic age to like start playing up and trying shit. Yeah. Right.
Well, the thing is, I always knew about capoeira,
Mm-hmm.
and I was practicing taekwondo at that moment, and I saw a capoeira group in my city.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, I'm going to try it out because I love it." Since at the moment I saw it in, I don't know, some documentary or something like that.
Eddie Gordo on Tekken.
Eddie Gordo from Tekken
Right,
video games.
he popularized capoeira for sure. Like he even
So
had the
good.
Brazilian pants on. Quickly before you go further down that track, just for my own sake, is capoeira's Brazilian, right?
Yes.
But-
Brazilian.
Obviously, it's found its way through South America to Argentina, and is that sort of what happened? Like the capoeira moved to the coast, Argentina,
I
for
think
the whole place.
yeah, whole place,
Right.
whole place. It's like, imagine a virus spreading the, the world.
The dance virus.
Yeah, it's like that because there's someone who entered Brazil and said, "Hey, actually, this is really good."
Mm.
Or some people capoeira practitioner going out to live in another place and bringing capoeira to this place, this new town. So
Yeah.
yes, like slowly, and spreading out, and then it was super fast.
Yeah.
Like it was really-
Infiltrated everything everywhere.
yeah.
Oh.
And so I started capoeira. And that moment I stopped taekwondo. I said I'm going to do capoeira. My taekwondo base was really good for kickings and stuff.
Yeah.
So immediately I had this kind of this guy is
right.
has
Good off the
skills.
bat.
But of course, even when you have a lot of skills, or I'm not consider myself a talented mover or practitioner, but
Wow.
I really can. I put everything on.
You're there, committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more my consistency than my talent, you know.
Right.
Whatever I have achieved till now, which is average, anyways.
If everyone, like, if anyone's watching that knows who you are and you're calling yourself average, like, you must think of everyone in New Zealand pretty much just so average. I'm not asking you that question, but you know, like, to me and to so many people out there, you know, like my partner, so many other people, like, we look at you and think that you're very, very talented, and clearly it's come from a place of you working at it pretty much your whole life. But it's just interesting that you don't think that you're that talented, but it's because you're always comparing yourself to the people that you're looking to for motivation and stuff. And a lot of us look at you for that, which is interesting. Mm.
Whoa. No, I honestly am not that talented.
Yeah.
I work hard sometimes.
Yeah. Nice.
Sometimes. So yeah, I started this capoeira journey, and it was a huge one because it's really humbling, and then I started to travel to Brazil really frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I knew these masters from Brazil, and you discover then that is so much people that they are not really known, even like everyone. Like there are some famous people, and you say, hey, yeah, that's a reference.
Yeah.
There are so much people around.
Like,
they are really good.
Yeah.
They are really good, and they don't have an Instagram.
Yeah.
They don't have a social media stuff. They don't have, and that's amazing, bro. It's like,
it's pretty
how?
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I spent around 15 years training capoeira.
Right.
It was the practice that I've been doing for
So that
longer.
was from what, like 20
20
to
yeah
35
22 till just
now.
I stopped
Right.
recently when I moved to New Zealand, a
Right.
little bit before.
Mm-hmm.
There were some stuff that the reasons that I stopped, but yeah, then anyways, here in New Zealand I started teaching capoeira
Teaching.
when I arrived, and that's why we
I mean, yeah, that's how we met.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fuck. It's fascinating, like, how different. Thank you. How different the childhood of ours is, and how, like, your introduction to movement. Yeah. It's so buzzy. Was movement for you? Were you doing it because there was nothing else to do? Like, what was your affluence like? Like, was your family wealthy? Did you have did you have many TVs and like all that sort of shit around when you were growing up?
Not many TVs. Not because it's no. Definitely was because it was my interest. I wanted to do that. I consider myself a mover because I like to explore with my body. I like to try.
But
everything.
you could have played video games. You could have the options were there.
I had video games in my home, and I love it.
Okay,
but I couldn't spend much time doing it. I spent like a few nights with my friends like, let's do whatever it is. But it wasn't my main
passion.
No, at all. I cannot spend much time on screens and stuff. So yeah, definitely these approaches brought me a new perspective, or this idea of exploration all the time, or movement research, body research. It was the pathway to explore movement in a different way. So I discovered Ido Portal like, I don't know how much
before
years.
He was famous. Before
Way before. I was looking for movement.
Wait, is he from Israel or Argentina?
Yeah.
He's from Israel.
Israel, definitely. So I discovered him because I practiced capoeira. He practiced capoeira. I saw him doing one arm pull-ups. I'm practicing the same. I want something different.
Yes.
And now, of course,
it's just so fascinating, bro. Because I mean, we'll get into my story later, but like for me, coming across mixed martial arts, Conor McGregor winning and becoming famous was pretty much the reason that I found out about Ido Portal and started practicing like locomotion and that sort of stuff. And then like the reality is you were training that for like 10, 15 years before I had even discovered unconventional fitness or like that sort of movement, you know. And it's just fascinating that I'm clearly so Western because I only found out through the popularization on social media and that sort of thing, but you were born into that culture. Like that was your upbringing, you know. And for me it was like through social media pretty much, which makes me super grateful for social media. Like how fucking cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this popularization of stuff, of course, is bringing a lot of bad stuff to social environment, but it's also bringing a lot of good stuff. And we should stick to the good stuff and not think about it.
I mean, it's like everything though, eh? Like, fuck, you can point out the negatives of anything. Like, there are incredible positives to video games. There's incredible positives to, TikTok. All these things that most of us have a negative connotation with. Like, there are some people out there getting paid full time to play games, and they love it, and it's their passion, and they help other people find their passion, and like it's also really cool. But like I'm just saying that there's good and bad in everything, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then you got to New Zealand, kept practicing capoeira, but through your own training, through your own.
Yeah, so
like you didn't have a master or whatever the terminology is in New Zealand, right?
Again, about the master?
Like you didn't have someone here that you were learning from?
No. So my master is a Brazilian person, Mestre Badogue, and from Capoeira Raça is the name of the group. But I'm not a practitioner anymore.
Right.
I forgot to mention that I practice ninjutsu as well.
Ninjutsu?
Yeah, ninjutsu is a Japanese martial art. Right. It comes from samurai and ninja schools, like really traditional martial art. Like it's not sportive. It's not something that you compete or something like that. That's why it's not that well known. But anyways, it brings a really specific essence to survival skills as well. Like survival in every sense. It's not just I'm going to do this tool. You know, it's like the feeling you need to survive. That's everything. Like the feeling, the way of thinking, the way of everything.
Cool.
So I'm currently practicing that, studying with my master and my sensei in Argentina. He's in Córdoba, Rodrigo Guardia, and but in terms of fitness, is I studied Bachelor Sciences of Physical Education as a bachelor degree.
Right. At university?
Yes, it was a in Argentina we call it tertiary studies,
tertiary education. Yeah.
tertiary education. Yeah.
I think in New Zealand that might be equivalent to NZQA, which is the qualification I have, which is tertiary education. I might be completely wrong. Maybe that is equivalent to university.
Yeah, definitely is equivalent to university.
So that was a 3-year.
It was
study.
A 4-year study.
4-year study. Okay, yeah, definitely university. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, at that moment I was so hungry for knowledge, so I went to the university the university, and it was like so disappointing. But yeah, anyways, bringing all these things together, practice martial arts, capoeira, Boy Scouts, everything together, like everything, like conditioning, physical conditioning.
Yeah.
I said no. I really want to. It was actually I didn't think about it. Like my approach was already different.
Yeah.
Since since the beginning.
Yeah.
And essentially I started and started to create my own trainings and offering the.
So now, what would you like? A lot of people, they train, they go to the gym. They're a power lifter. They're a bodybuilder. They're a CrossFit athlete. They're a martial artist. Like, how do you feel, and how do you like identify? What do you know? Yeah.
So there is a topic that Hydro Portal brings a lot, and there's a lot of people talking about this, and this where I really feel the specialization of movement. So it depends your goal. I prefer to not be a specialist,
right?
Because I've been there before.
Yeah.
I practiced capoeira for 15 years. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I discovered the benefits of practice different stuff.
So you've specialized so much to the point now where you're like just in between everything.
Yeah.
You can like switch if you wanted to achieve a specific goal, like get better at fighting or whatever, you would switch your training more towards that sort of thing and less calisthenics or whatever. And right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man, it's super cool. It's super inspiring for me. A little bit jealous if I'm honest. Like just from the upbringing perspective, like. Yeah, it's just super cool. Yeah.
But yeah, man, we have how much? How old are you? 29,
27.
27.
Yeah.
I'm 38.
Yeah.
38 or 39? I'm not so sure.
So
we have
10 years.
11 years difference. You have 11 years difference.
Push up in 11 years.
Bro, like we cannot compare it.
I know.
I mean, I wish I had the knowledge and the wisdom you have at that age. I didn't have it, and a lot more to develop, but I didn't have that kind of, I don't know how you feel, like the perception, the how you reflect about things, and how you feel about the world, like how you feel about the connection with this, I don't know, something. I don't know, right?
Like it's God or whatever
exactly
you want
that
to
kind of
describe
spirituality.
Yeah,
I didn't have that. Maybe I could feel that,
but you weren't consciously.
I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of that, and I start to feel that once my daughter born. That was when I created reconnection training. So I said, okay, now what I can offer to the world? I have all of the things in my background, but what I can do of that. So yeah.
Fuck. That's a super short version, but yeah, so cool.
What about you?
Yeah, mine. Like I was always into sports and stuff at primary school. Like there was never any like really fundamental thing that I did. I played soccer and different sports and shit. But movement was always like something I was almost scared of because of my chest. Like taking my shirt off, I'd almost avoid situations where I'd have to be shirtless, and that pretty much is the reason why I started going to the gym. Like through let's just say team sports. Thank you. Team sports through all schools, and then just getting to the point where, fuck, it's kind of emotional talking about it. But getting to the point where, man, I just hated myself. Like, hated physically. Like, I was a happy person, had a great family, great upbringing, like, was active, but never really good at anything. So I did mountain biking and all these different things through school, but I never had found my thing. And then one day I set up, actually this is where it starts. One day I set up, I can't remember what age I was, maybe 15, 16, I set up the scaffolding on the lawn. Scaffolding's like the stuff you stand on to paint buildings and shit. And I set the scaffolding up and then asked my mum and dad, I was like, if I do as many pull-ups and as many push-ups as I can every day, like, will I put muscle on? Will I get jacked? And they were like, yeah. And so that's how it started. That's how I started training, and it came from the perspective of wanting to look better and be happy with what I saw in the mirror. And that's why I guess when I say I'm jealous, is because your training has never been about that, and my training very much was that. Like, I started because of what I look like. Having pectus excavatum, for those of you that don't know, I have a sunken sternum, so my chest caves in, and as a kid you think you look worse than you are, and so it was like a very, I was always insecure and self-conscious about it, and so that was why I started training, because I wanted to get jacked, I wanted to cover with muscle, and I just wanted to feel confident. And so through setting up Dad's scaffolding, I started doing bodyweight training, just push-ups, dips, pull-ups, and then I started to see a little bit of result. And then I think it was in year 11, my best friend Brad, legend, he started training at Temple Fitness in Gisborne, bodybuilding stuff like weightlifting, like chest day, back day, that sort of shit. And he invited me, and then the first session, because I was already doing a little bit of bodyweight stuff, like I had a chest pump, and I like saw myself in the mirror, and I was like, whoa, I'm like a little bit more jacked than I've normally been, like this feels good, I feel empowered. And then fucking just went all in on bodybuilding, just didn't stop, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like this guy Ziz, for those of you that remember Ziz, like very, very vain intentions. I just wanted to get muscle, I just wanted to get strong, I just wanted to feel confident. And that's exactly what happened. Like, bro, year 12, 13, my last year of school, I competed in bodybuilding shows, did like 4 competitions in my last year of school, and I truly started to love who I was. It was like, I'm empowered, I'm confident, I go to the beach and I'm the fucking dude who takes his shirt off because, like, I don't care. And people would be like, what's up with your chest? Oh, by the way, you're jacked as. And I'd be like, doesn't even matter anymore. Like, I'm jacked, and like that was my identity, like bodybuilding, And
bro, it's like it's so incredible, because you say this and I can feel you. I can really feel you. I had goosebumps, but man, it's incredible how with this, how do you call this?
Like air quotes.
Air quotes.
Yeah.
When you do this, air quotes. Air quotes.
Yeah.
It's like bro, it's like you look amazing, bro. That's the thing. And with your condition, right? You can inspire so much people.
I think that's what I'm really realizing now. And
bro.
I think that's probably like the main calling that I feel, was to like bro, the reason it makes me emotional and like triggers me is just because a lot of people joke around and they say they hate themselves and shit, but like I really hated, and I know that's such a strong word, but like I had moments of like crying and just like why me? Why do I have to be the guy with this thing? Why do I have to be, like victim mentality? Everyone's got problems. I can now see that, but at the time it was like everyone else had a normal chest and I was the one that, and it came from bullying as well. Like I was bullied I'd be at swimming sports like this, and then when I wasn't, it was like, oh, Hunter, what the fuck? Like, blah. And that was, and so, it's it's realizing that is now the superpower that I have, is to inspire other people who were just like me when I was a kid, just like me. Like, fuck.
Well,
yeah.
I think you can tell me. Probably it's not this is the part with people struggle more, I believe, is the fact of the process, because they want the result. Most of the society wants the results now, but how long did it take you to feel like that, and then like feel like, hey, I have value. Yeah.
I don't think it was long. Like, my body obviously didn't get muscular until I was competing in shows where like I actually realized like, I'm pretty muscular now. Like, yeah, but I think just the physical discipline of training every day, eating, like, my mum was helping me eat enough food. Like, I remember Rich Piana, this fucking super jacked dude with tattoos, on all kinds of steroids, and he'd always say, there's no such thing as overtraining, you're either under eating or under sleeping. And so I was like trying to eat heaps of food, and like just that whole process of like, I'm eating well, like chicken, rice, like bodybuilder shit. I'm disciplined training every day. My community and friends, like, I'm training with, and when you train with like other dudes, it's like, fuck yeah, bro, that was me. Like, there's a connection, and I had that. And so it was just that probably like after, I want to say 3 to 6 months, I started to be like, yo, sick. Like, I'm the guy who goes to the gym. I'm the guy who eats well. I'm the guy who trains hard. I'm the guy who believes in himself. Like, posters on my wall and shit. And so it went from like hating who I was, despair, to like Arnold Schwarzenegger, all this stuff. Like, anything's possible if I just train hard, work hard, like eat right, I can be Mr. Olympia one day, And so, yeah, it wasn't long. It was just getting that little bit of momentum and confidence to begin with, and then it was like, yeah.
Well, I think 3 to 6 months is not. It's a lot. It's a lot of time, and it takes discipline. It takes time for you to invest in your training, in whatever you do, and of course you kept having results during the till now. Like, you still build your body, and you still build your mobility, and but you don't what I want to say is like, yeah, maybe those months were enough for you to feel better, because you were feeling so bad, because you were not doing nothing before that, and because you were with this victim mentality before. But once you started to develop all these skills in every sense, emotional, physically, everything, like you knew that, and yeah, it took you this journey from that age. It was, how old are you? 11, you said, or something like that.
Like when I started training.
Yeah, when you did the first pull-ups and on the scaffold.
Yeah, like 14, 15. Yeah,
bro, and now like almost 15 years ago. 15 years later, like you are. Whatever you are doing now, like whatever you're doing, it's like, it's amazing. Is that the journey and the process is so good, and it brings a lot of awareness of different stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's important to recognize, is through training, through bodybuilding, through all of that, I then stumbled into other ways of training. So I went to Canada for 9 months, pretty much stopped training. And then I got into like a really bad place with mental health, and then started training again. And I was like, that's probably why, because I'm no longer doing anything. I'm no longer disciplined. I'm no longer eating well. And so I started training in Canada, and that made me feel way better. Came back home, kept training, more of bodybuilding, fashion and style. But it just felt wrong. I was like, fuck, like I'm going to the gym and I'm like doing these bicep curls, and I just feel like an idiot. Like, I'm just like, what am I, like, why do I even want to build muscle? Like, why do I want to be jacked? And that was like a bit of like an identity crisis for a year or two, living in the Viaduct in Auckland City, bodybuilding training, and I just was like, what the fuck is this all about? And then I had surgery on my wrist. Just going to continue with my story. Had surgery on my wrist, broke it while I was in Canada, and I kept training through rehab, fixing my wrist, and just like still questioning everything. Like, I was putting the cable here and doing rows and thinking like, alright, so I'm building strength. I don't really care about muscle anymore, but I know that when I'm more jacked, I feel better, so I'm just going to do it anyway. So I just kept training and kept questioning, was like, what is all this for? And then lockdown happened, and I was like, you know what? My wrist is really bad. We're in lockdown. I'm going to start my handstand journey purely from the perspective of wanting to get better wrist mobility. So I was like, here. And so I was like stretching and practicing every day, and then eventually you could do kick-ups to the wall. And that was like sort of like the start of, there's another aspect of training. I should also add, actually, before we went to Canada, maybe like a year before going overseas, I started yoga and stuff. But that was purely from the like, yoga is good for your body and for your mind, not thinking about it from a movement perspective. It was just like health, it's good.
Wellness.
It was wellness, like, yogis. And so got into the handstand stuff in lockdown, the first lockdown. And then that opened my eyes to a little bit via social media, because I started following handstand dudes. And those handstand dudes are like yoga practitioners or gymnasts and that sort of stuff. So it opened up the horizons a little bit with the people I was influenced by, and then moved over the bridge. Long story short, moved in with Josh, and he was doing martial arts at the time. We still were both bodybuilding. And then fast forward to then meeting you. Actually, before that, started focusing on calisthenics, and that felt cool because it was like, I'm actually getting better at these movements and not just building muscle. But I'm building muscle still. It still felt like a little bit, like it's really cool, but yeah. And then met you at the beach. Me and Josh were playing frisbee, and then Josh was like, let's go say hi, and I was like, okay, fuck it. And then we went over, and then it was instantly like sick. We started training capoeira, getting into movement, and at the time we were looking into Ido Portal, and it was just the timing. Like I was like a little fucking thing waiting for the catalyst to just like expand of all the things that I was being influenced by, but not really taking action on. I think you remember I mentioned Ido Portal to you pretty instantly after we met.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but I wasn't really practicing. And so since meeting you, just in my own time, and obviously with the stuff that you've shared with me, just expanded my definition of fitness. And now, I couldn't give a fuck about muscle, which isn't actually true, because obviously you look good, you feel empowered. So it's nice to have a developed physique because you feel strong with it, and it's a representation of your physical body, which is cool. But it was from there, developing into your just your teachings in capoeira, and realizing that movement isn't in a box. Like movement is everything. Movement's like literally everything. And then it made training make sense. It made everything else make sense. I stopped doing bicep curls and thinking, what the fuck am I doing? And was like, doing muscle ups, and on the same day doing pistol squats, and the same day mobility, the same day practicing capoeira, and realizing that there's no box to movement, and movement can be whatever you enjoy. And now I believe that's my main message from like my personal standpoint, is when people ask me, I've missed a few points, being that I got qualified as a PT, went to university, studied sport and exercise science, dropped out after 2 years and studied PTing, which was like a placement for a year to get qualified. So I was working at City Fitness as a personal trainer, which was a year-long course to get me qualified. And so people, when they ask me today, like, what movement should I do? It's like, whatever the movement that you're actually going to do. Like, if I tell you, like, do 10 strict push-ups, 10 strict pull-ups, and you hate doing that, then it's not the right thing. But if you love unconventional training, you love the flow aspect of stuff, then that's your movement. If you love dancing, that's your movement. If you love whatever, like, if there's something that you really enjoy, then that's, like, my message now. Like, you don't have to fit yourself into a box. Like, you can do anything and everything, and movement is just this fun playground to explore, like, all the different modalities of movement, and, like, there's no right or wrong way, and like, all the stuff you learned in personal training school and all this is like so bullshit, and there's no boxes. There's truth, there's fundamental truths to it, but I guess in the conversation we were saying before, when you have an injured shoulder and you're like doing these little rotations to uninjure yourself, like that is, in my belief, like an outdated way of healing the body. And I believe movement is medicine, motion is lotion, like all those sorts of things. And I'm just super grateful that I started training in the backyard on the scaffolding, because that's ultimately led to me here now. And sometimes I'm embarrassed of like the provocative of me starting training being I want to look better, but that's the reason I'm here now. It's the reason why we met. It's the reason why I'm doing any of this shit. And that's I'm so grateful to my younger self for just stepping up and like taking action. And I just love that message. Like, no one's coming to save you. You have to do it yourself. If you don't step up and change, like no one's going to do it for you. It's you choose. And so thank you, younger me.
It's amazing, bro. That's what I was mentioning about the fact of being so...
Sorry, I left this sitting here for...
Yeah, I was looking at you like...
Drink the mate, bro!
Drink the mate.
Motherfucker.
I mean, you are talking about from your experience, right? You are talking about this journey brought you here, and it's amazing to observe your process. Because exactly what you said, it was your journey to start in something else, whatever it is. But if you are not that aware, if you are not that conscious, probably you are going to keep doing the same thing for your whole life without bringing consciousness to it. You were able to bring conscious to your practice, to whatever you were doing. There's some people that they're really committed to, I don't know, whatever it is, bodybuilding. We are not saying here bodybuilding is bad. It's no. We are talking about the fact of being a specialist, or just having one practice. Where do you want to go with that practice? If your goal is competitions, it's all good.
Bodybuilding, fuck yeah, like go hard.
If you want to, if in that moment it brought you a lot of satisfaction, it brought you a lot of self-confidence. It's all good. This is what we want to bring. Like the practice you want to choose should be functional, right? Should create a pathway for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve.
Whether that's bodybuilding, whether that's the CrossFit Games, whether that's like Taekwondo competition or whatever.
Now this is really important. If we talk about human evolution and human body and other things like deeper, like in terms of movement, not every practice is aligned with our DNA code.
I think
which is absolutely different.
That's ultimately what we're trying to shine light on here through Kairos and through, our I don't know, what do you call it? Our tagline, our catchphrase is human evolution, and it's movement from the perspective of human evolution. And I think that's why. Thank you. I think that's where, talking about movement from that perspective, I want to be as free, expressive, and enjoy my body the most. And in my opinion, that no longer aligns with bodybuilding. And so that's, again, the human evolutionary point of what are we training for? And mine's to explore, evolve, and grow. And ramble. I'm going to get a lot of the rambles. That story I told about my past was very chaotic, but we got there.